How to lead change and change your future. C.S. Lewis said, "You're never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream." Each time a major shift in our industry or in the economy or even in our personal life happens, for example, change in our relationship status, moving house, losing a loved one, each time we have to make a decision about who we want to become and what we want to accomplish going forward. In other words, we must go through a personal change management process. If we don't, we risk never reaching our full potential. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Leena Patel Live. My name is Leena Patel, founder of Global Impact Systems, helping bring the sandbox into the boardroom. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've forged new paths for myself several times in my life. And it seems that most adults I talk to, particularly Gen Xers and baby boomers, have also. Every time we forge a new path, we've got to do it with intention and deliberation. There was a period in my life which I call the limbo period. I knew I needed to make a shift out of this stagnant, energetic field that I was creating and that was surrounding me. This was shortly after the 2007 recession. I had several homes that were worth less than I owed on them. Every dollar that I made in my business was being sunk into paying for mortgages that I eventually ended up letting go. And as the value of my investments and savings rapidly plummeted, I felt myself paralyzed, waiting for the light. I was hoping and praying for a new golden future to arrive. I had no idea what it was that I wanted to move towards, and so I simply stayed put in limbo land, waiting to download wisdom in the form of the precise next step to take to move forward in my life. I was waiting for that proverbial bolt of lightning to guide me to go there, do that. And needless to say, I waited in vain. Then I took a trip to New York City, and for the 3 days I spent there, I got more accomplished in that time than I had in my home city in the previous 3 weeks. I felt alive, I felt invigorated, I tasted enthusiasm and joy, and was filled with a renewed determination to lead change instead of praying things wouldn't get so dire it would take me out of the game. I didn't think New York City was going to be a long-term home for me by any means, but something inside me moved me to stay put. I decided that in the absence of clarity, I needed to at least move forward in some way. I decided that one step forward would lead to another step, which would lead to another and another. And I decided that if I took a step in the wrong direction, I would course correct. I just needed to make sure that I was moving forward. I realized that because I had no idea what it was that I wanted to move towards, I stayed still. And because I stayed still, the universe kept me in limbo. I was thinking about my past, I was scratching my head over my then-present reality, but I wasn't consciously designing my future. The decision to stay put in New York City taught me this one thing. Inaction causes stagnation. Most of us are so afraid of making the wrong decision that we get paralyzed and we make no decision at all. You've got to create a bold, compelling vision for your future. And in the absence of clarity, the universe will fill the gaps with whatever it chooses, and most of the time it's not going to be anything that you would have chosen for yourself. A mentor once told me, the universe abhors a vacuum. His words ring in my ear any time I don't have a clear-cut strategy in place. What if I make a mistake? One of my corporate clients asked me. Well, to answer this question, let me tell you a story, and it's a true story. I was invited some months ago to train leaders of a leading organization, and as part of the training, I gave participants a quiz. They were given a series of questions and a list of answers, and they had to match up the correct answer to the question. Pretty simple, right? It was supposed to be something fun to break up the very serious, intense, learning that was taking place as we were getting deep into implementing a succession planning program into their company. So here's what I discovered, quite by accident. Every single group only matched up the answers they knew. And I playfully suggested to them, hey, you can take a guess for the remaining ones. Not a big deal. What do you think happened? Not a single group did. They were so afraid to be wrong that they didn't give themselves permission to fail, to even take a guess, to play. It was a quiz. There was no prize. Here's the lesson. When we fear making mistakes, we also become averse to risk. Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, he wrote that for most people, the fear of losing $100 is more intense than the hope of gaining $150. Is it possible that we are loss averse more than risk averse? If you are not prepared to be wrong, to take risks, you'll never come up with anything original. In business, aversion to risk might possibly be an aversion to loss. Either way, it is the death of most any business in today's fast-changing economy. The bottom line is that great leaders realize that sometimes they're going to be right and sometimes they're going to be wrong. Great leaders make the best decision they can in the moment, they course correct if they make a mistake, and they learn the lesson so the mistake is not repeated. Change is never easy, but change can lead to a fresh perspective, a new outlook, a renewed connection to ourselves and to life. But if we don't make the choice to lead change, change will lead us. It will decide our fate, for better or for worse. Are you ready to lead change? If not, rededicate yourself to the effort. I believe that change is a choice. And the question I want to leave you with today is, what would you do if you knew you couldn't lose or fail? What bold action would you take? I hope this has given you some value. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and download and subscribe today on iTunes or Stitcher so you don't miss future episodes. Also, check out the show notes for this week, available at leenapatellive.com. And share your thoughts and any ideas you have for future episodes by leaving a review on iTunes. Let me know how I can serve you, and I'll see you in the sandbox.